Gabriel Noach Holtzberg was born in Israel in 1979. At 9 years old, he moved to New York with his family. Living in New York gave him the opportunity to meet with and learn from the Rebbe. Rivka Rosenberg was born to her parents Shimon and Yehudit in Afula, Israel in 1980. She was a lively girl, and she managed to be heard, even as the middle child in a family of 11. She decided at a young age that she would devote her life to shlichus. In 2001, boy and girl were introduced. After a few meetings, they decided it was a match. Shortly after their marriage, they made the decision that so many of their peers, other young Chabad Lubavitch couples, had made. Heeding the Rebbe's call, they decided to leave their comfortable home and head out on shlichus. The posting they chose was further and more difficult than most. Just before Hanukkah of 2003, they arrived in sprawling Bombay, the world's second most populous city. Their center was a small rented room in a 3-star downtown hotel. They gave Torah classes in the small space and served Shabbos meals, although there was no kitchen. It quickly became an open house for backpackers, travelers, business people, and of course the 4,000 local members of the Indian Jewish community. Like their forefather Abraham thousands of years beforehand, who went to set up a tent to share food, drink, and his knowledge of the Creator in a spiritual wilderness, the couple served their fellow Jews, catering to their material and spiritual needs. Gabi would buy hundreds of live chickens each week and prepare them himself. Rifki would give classes for women and make them feel welcome and at home. Gabi, with his endearing smile, would put guests at ease. He officiated at weddings, brit milas, and bar mitzvahs. The price? Free. We're here for you, they would say with a smile. Their activities grew, and before long it had come time to find a larger space for their quickly expanding center, which had become a hub for Jewish life in teeming Mumbai.
כן, אנחנו מתכוננים לרכוש בעזרת השם את הבניין, ואז נעשה חנוכת הבית. תוכנית כאן לעשות מסעדה, קומה ראשונה. קומה שנייה יהיה בית כנסת, ספרייה, חדר אינטרנט, תקשורת, קומה שלישית גן ילדים, קומה רביעית רב שימושית, לדירת צוות של הבית חב"ד, של הבחורים, של הגננות. קומה חמישית אנחנו גרים. שישית יהיה כמין Jewish Club.
בדרך כלל מגיעים לפה מטיילים, שעושים ערב או יומיים, מקסימום יום-יומיים במומביי. מגיעים לפה הרבה יהלומנים.
On the evening of November 26, 2008, while the last of some 4,000 of their colleagues were still making their way home from a conference of shluchim in New York, Gabi, Rifki, and their son Moshe were in the Chabad house in Mumbai. As usual, they were hosting a number of visitors, among them several tourists and kosher food supervisors from abroad. While they sat there, terrorists began to open fire at the city's main train station, then attacking hospitals and hotels near their home. 2 hours later, while Rabbi Holtzberg was on the line with the Israeli consulate, terrorists began to storm the Chabad house. As they were shooting their way into the building, Rabbi Holtzberg declared, "Hamatzav lo tov," the situation is not good, and the phone went dead. The people in the facility were taken hostage. Night turned to morning, and there was no word about the condition of the hostages. A worker in the center who had been hiding in a room on the first floor heard baby Moshe crying out for his parents. Risking her life, she ran upstairs and found the boy walking around, his clothing stained with blood. She grabbed the baby and ran for safety. One day dragged into two, and then a third. Indian Army commandos finally stormed the Chabad house as the world held its breath. A pair of tzitzis were waved from a window. As millions of people sat glued to their screens, the prayers around the world intensified. But the answer was not the one that had been so desperately hoped for. The Jewish people have had no shortage of tragedy. If a group of young terrorists can band together and turn the world upside down through evil, how much can millions of mitzvahs achieve? If a gunshot can echo from one continent to another within seconds, how quickly and how far then can a good deed shine? Their sacrifice captured the imagination of people across the world.
One of the main functions